Welcome to the deep dive.
Okay, so have you ever heard of a building that's only 6 feet wide?
6 feet.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
That's barely wider than a sidewalk.
I know. That's the Sam Kee Building
What?
in Vancouver. It holds the Guinness World Record for the world's narrowest commercial building.
That's incredible.
It is-
What did they even fit in there?
I know, right? Well, I was reading about this, and it turns out there's like shops and offices all crammed in there. Like they have a basement that extends below the sidewalk. Even had like a barber shop in there at one point.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway, the story behind this building is even more amazing. Apparently, the original owner, Chang Toi,
Okay.
he lost a huge chunk of his land to the city in the early 1900s. Like we're talking 79% of his property just gone.
Oh, wow.
I know. And the city didn't even compensate him for it.
So what happened?
Well, he was left with this super narrow strip of land, like basically useless, right?
Yeah.
But instead of giving up, he made a bet that he could still make something of it.
I love
Right. And that's how the Sam Kee Building was born.
Mm-hmm.
He turned this like major setback into a totally unique landmark.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And you know what? This isn't just some cool real estate story.
What is it then?
It's a marketing lesson. Like, think about it. Turning limitations into opportunities. That's like marketing 101, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So let's dig into that. What can we learn from Chang Toi and his, never say die attitude when it comes to marketing our own businesses and ideas?
Well, first of all, I think the Sam Kee Building is like a perfect example of how constraints can actually spark creativity.
Okay.
Like, think about it. If Chang Toi had had all that land, he probably would just built a regular building.
Right.
But because he had this tiny sliver of land, he was forced to get creative, come up with a totally unique solution, and that's what made it stand out.
Right.
So in marketing, we often think of limitations as a bad thing, like, oh, I don't have enough budget or I don't have enough time. But those limitations can actually be a good thing. They force us to think outside the box.
So rather than getting discouraged by those limitations, we should look at them as like a challenge.
Exactly, like a creative puzzle to solve.
Okay.
And sometimes those constraints actually lead to the most innovative and successful ideas.
So like the Sam Kee Building. Right. Its narrowness is what makes it so iconic.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we apply that outside the box thinking to our marketing? Like,
Right.
What are some concrete examples of how that's been done successfully?
Okay, well, let's stick with the Sam Kee Building for a second.
Okay.
So it didn't just, survive its limitation.
Right.
It thrived because of it.
Okay.
The design, as unusual as it was, became a major draw. Like, tourists from all over the world come to see this building just because it's so unique.
Right.
So the limitation actually became part of its story, part of its brand.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and we can see that same principle at play in other areas of marketing. Like, look at a company like GoPro. They started by targeting a very specific niche market. Extreme sports enthusiasts. That was their constraint. But they used that constraint to build a really strong brand identity. They focused all their energy on that niche, and it worked.
So it's like turning a weakness into a strength.
Exactly. Like, if you have a limited budget, instead of trying to compete with the big guys, you can own that. You can be scrappy, inventive, make that part of your brand's personality.
Yeah. And, Chang Toi didn't just build a building. He created a whole story around it.
A story of resilience, ingenuity.
Yeah. Like, I can imagine people hearing about this building and thinking, wow, that guy didn't give up.
And that's a powerful marketing lesson, too. Build a narrative.
Okay, so how do we do that? Like, let's say I'm launching a new product in a crowded market.
Right.
How do I create a narrative that's going to grab people's attention?
Well, think about what makes your story unique. What are your constraints? Maybe you have a limited budget. Maybe you're a small team going up against a giant corporation.
Okay.
Use those constraints to your advantage. Tell the David and Goliath story. Show people how you're overcoming the odds. People love to root for the underdog.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And it makes your brand more relatable, more human.
Makes you stand out.
Exactly.
You know what else stands out about the Sam Kee Building?
What's that?
It's memorable. Like, you see it, you remember it. It's not just functional. It makes a statement.
Yeah, and that's another key takeaway here. You have to differentiate yourself. In a world full of noise, you need to find what makes your brand unique and shout it from the rooftops.
So to wrap it all up, the Sam Kee Building teaches us that even the most challenging limitations can actually be our greatest strengths. Embrace those limitations. Let them fuel your creativity. Build a compelling narrative around them and use them to differentiate yourself in the marketplace.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So here's a question for all of you listening. What's your narrow strip of land? What limitations are you facing in your own work or life?
And how can you use the spirit of the Sam Kee Building to turn those limitations into something truly remarkable?
Think about it.
You might just surprise yourself.
All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Step right up, we're diving in. Marketing tales from where to when. Curious facts that make you grin. Welcome friends, let's begin. From lost campaigns to clever schemes, broken dreams and wild extremes, the lessons learned through all extremes. Truth is stranger than it seems. Oh, it's the deep dive you gotta hear. Marketing tales from far and near, the lessons wrapped in laughter clear. Oh yeah, we're taking the rear. Marketing myths and legends bold, stories better than gold. Every tale is retold in ways you've never been told. From the quirky ads gone haywire to campaigns that catch fire, every story to admire. Tune in and let's aspire. Oh, it's the deep dive you gotta hear. Marketing tales from far and near, lessons wrapped in laughter clear. Oh yeah, we're taking the rear. From lost campaigns to clever schemes, broken dreams and wild extremes, the lessons learned through all extremes. Truth is stranger than it seems. Oh, it's the deep dive you gotta hear. Marketing tales from far and near, lessons wrapped in laughter clear. Oh yeah, we're taking the rear. Oh yeah, we're taking the rear. Oh, it's the deep dive you gotta hear. Marketing tales from far and near, lessons were wrapped in laughter clear. Oh yeah, we're taking the rear. Oh yeah, we're taking the rear.